Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show, present the AEW Collision Ring Report. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show, we're talking about this. FTR issues a open challenge for their World Tag Team Championship. FTR taking on the Iron Savages for the World Tag Team titles. And FTR give a up and coming team an opportunity to become the next World Tag Team Champions. We're going to see that coming up here. Coming up. Also, too, in another match that we're going to be talking about, Andrade and Ligo takes on Scorpio Sky. Both men are looking for an opportunity of advantage. Who will be trying to get the best of each other? We'll talk about that coming up. Also, too, a legendary tag team in the Hardy Boys. They're trying to come up in the tag team ranks. They're going against the Righteousness. The Hardy Boys going against the Righteousness coming up here. But we kick off the collision with tag team action. We kick off the collision with Bryan Danielson and Claudio Cesaro, the Blackpool Combat Club, taking on Ricky Starks and Big Bill in the opening match for collision. We'll talk about it coming up. Also, too, we're going to get more highlights indeed of what's going on in the traps of AEW, plus two in the hot topics, pro wrestling hot topics. We talking about this. All three members of the Shield are in the top three. We're going to do the rankings coming up and see what's going on. Plus two, Jade Cargill. She's wrapped and done with AEW. Is she WWE bound? We'll talk about it coming up. And we'll talk about last night with The Rock. Made a rare appearance on SmackDown, his show that he built. SmackDown, and we'll talk about more on the Pro Wrestling Show for the AEW Collision Ring Report. It starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the AEW Collision Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the AEW Collision Ring Report. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Thank you for watching on Connect TV, on YouTube, and our social media accounts as well. Platforms, or whatever you want to call it. We thank you for watching. So, join in that conversation. We're going to get to it right now with the opening match of the night. The opening match of the night was Bryan Danielson taking on with Claudio as Blackpool Combat Club members taking on Big Bill and Ricky Starks. What a match that was going to be. Of that match tonight, as we know Daniel Bryan and Ricky Starks do not have no love lost for each other. They've been at each other's throats for quite some time. And tonight was no different. As you see Bryan Danielson coming out there marching to the ring with Claudio. Bryan Danielson looking to prove a point tonight here on Collision. Bryan Danielson now taking ownership of that show. Ever since CM Punk left the show, and I think Bryan Danielson always had to pick up what CM Punk left off, pick up the pieces. Well, this tag team affair did start out hot and heavy. Ricky Starks did try to go after Bryan Danielson, nailing him and punching him with mounted punches. Ricky Starks got the win over Bryan Danielson with the Rochambeau. Get the 1-2-3. Ricky Starks getting his opportunity of a lifetime. Ricky Starks proving that he can beat Bryan Danielson. But it kind of reminded me on a off-topic note right here. With Big Bill. Big Bill was in a feud with Bryan Danielson a couple of years ago when it was on SmackDown. Big Bill did not he got fired for his troubles, but now he can kind of not worry. And I don't know why WWE didn't do nothing with Big Bill. He was everything they wanted. A tall giant of a man, and just didn't work out. But Ricky Starks get the win over Bryan Danielson. But Ricky Starks was not done yet. I know Ricky Starks had some unfinished business with Brian Danielson and stuff. Ricky Starks decided to challenge Brian Danielson to a Texas death match, and Ricky Starks will get that opportunity next week against Brian Danielson in the Texas death match next week. I don't know why Brian Danielson continue on working. We'll just prove for Brian Danielson like Ricky Starks, but they will meet a Texas death match next week, so we'll see that coming up next week. Well, speaking of that, the AEW World Tag Team titles were on the line as FTR set to defend the tag team titles against the Iron Savages. FTR want to be fighting champions, and they want to be that proven commodity that they want to be defending champions as well. You see right here, Dax coming out there. Dax making it seem like it's easy. Dax Hartwell, I think he's one of the he's in the team as well. Well, they defeated the Iron Savages to get the win, but lurking around and looming around was none other than Ozzy Open. Ozzy Open. I think Ozzy Open won a challenge for the tag team title. And that's why Ozzy Open dropped the tag team titles to MJF and Adam Cole. They was watching intently to keep a close bird's eye view of the match. And they will get a shot, an opportunity for the AEW World Tag Team titles, but they will get their shot at Wrestle Dream, the AEW newest pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream. And they will get their shot at Wrestle Dream in merely 2 weeks from tonight. So we'll get to see that. Ozzy Open versus FTR for the World Tag Team titles coming up. Well, that didn't stop there as the Acclaim. Anthony Bowens was in action, but Evil Uno, I don't know what's going on. I think they telling us a little bit on FTW on Ring of Honor. Evil Uno helping out John Silver. John Silver with a new look, a new attitude. John Silver don't want to be associated with the Dark Order no more, and John Silver associated with Evil Uno. So John Silver aligned himself with Evil Uno. We don't know what's going on with it, but we just have to wait and see what this is going to progress coming forward. Speaking of that, another thing that's coming up, Eddie Kingston has a big opportunity just coming up Wednesday on Dynamite. He takes on his longtime nemesis, Claudio, this next week. And Eddie Kingston said he promises he's going to leave out Grand Slam as the Ring Honor champion. This is his opportunity of a lifetime to do so. Can he do it? And can he make way to what he needs to do? Well, Eddie Kingston promised. I think Eddie Kingston will win. We will see this Wednesday night and see how that's going to play out. Well, speaking of play out, Toni Storm will get her shot at the AEW Women's Championship. She's been trying to portray herself as a Hollywood starlet, doing some crazy stuff. Toni Storm realizing that she wants to be AEW Women's Champion. She has that opportunity this Wednesday on Dynamite. Toni Storm came out there and she was talking to what's his name, and it's just led to that. But Toni Storm will get her shot for the AEW Women's title. Can she win the Women's Championship for a third time? Only time will tell on that. So we just have to wait and see how that's going to play out. Well, we go from tag team Toni Storm's nutty step to Andrade. Andrade versus Scorpio Sky. Now Andrade going against Scorpio Sky 1-on-1. Andrade came back with music. He's done with his feud. Andrade came out. Andrade took a punishment for Scorpio Sky. The punishment was that against Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky punishing Andrade back and forth to the point of what no return. And Andrade getting confronted by Jay White. And I think Andrade and Jay White will likely meet up and match up next week. Um, Jay White, Costin Andrade his match. I think Andrade didn't see it coming with Jay White, but we just have to wait and see how that's going to play out eventually. We know Jay White and Andrade might meet at Wrestle Dream, and we will wait and see how that's going to play out eventually coming up next week. Well, speaking of that, tag team action was in store. Tag team action was in store as the Hardy Boys, the legendary tag team of the Attitude Era, and multiple tag team champions, won the WWE, in the WCW, TNA, and then won the AEW title. Maybe they may win, but they went against the righteousness from Ring of Honor. We know Vincent and some other dude, Vincent and some other dude, the righteousness trying to clean the filth and what they need to do. But the righteousness won their match in an upset, in a stunning upset over the Hardy Boys. I don't know what's going on with that. But we will just have to wait and see how that's gonna play out eventually for the righteousness and stuff. I think how that might be. Well, it was the main event. It was main event time as the TBS Women's Championship was on the line as Dr. Britt Baker wants to make history. She wants to be a Grand Slam champion. She wants to be the first woman to hold both the AEW Women's and TBS Championship. But in order to do so, she had to pass through Kris Statlander. I meant to say. Well, speaking of Jay Carhill, we'll talk about Jay Carhill departure from AEW after she lost last night to Kris Statlander. Kris Statlander put a heck of a fight to counter. Dr. Britt Baker was not undone indeed. She wanted to prove herself as well. Dr. Britt Baker wanted to make sure she gets her glory and stuff one way or another. But Dr. Britt Baker almost had Kris Statlander where she wants her, but it just didn't go out her way. She was close, but close with no cigar. She lost her match, and you see right here, she put the lock jar. Uh, Kris Statlander reversed it and got the win. Only Britt Baker, Kris Statlander gets to pick up the win once again. Kris Statlander become a fighting champion, but who's going to dethrone her? It's going to be kind of tough and hard. Who's going to dethrone Britt Baker in the long run to get where she need to go? Could it be Julia Hart? You next in line to dethrone Britt Baker? Only time will tell. We just have to wait and see how that's going to play out eventually. Well, that does it for the AEW Collision Ring Report. Plus, two on a side note too. Um, we saw this as well. We can show the footage right here. That the workhorses, the Iron Horses, won a shot at the AEW Tag Team titles. They're gonna get a shot next week for the Tag Team titles. So we'll look to see that next week for the Iron Horses. Plus two more matches we forgot Nova mention. Keith Lee and Shane Taylor. They had that run in Ring of Honor when there was a tag team. No longer they're not a tag team. So Keith Lee and Shane Lee, I guess they're gonna be feuding coming up. Also, too, next week on the AEW on the AEW for Grand Slam, we got a lot of stuff going on. If we can turn the music a little bit down, there you go, right there. Coming up next week, what a Grand Slam for coming up on AEW Collision. We're gonna get the return of Rob Van Dam. He's returning to his home state to the ring, so RVD is gonna be a attraction or something. We'll see that coming up next week. RVD returns as well. Plus two, the 6-man tag team match they're trying to build up Rampage. They're gonna have the Gates, the Mobile Embassy, the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions versus Hangman Page and the Young Bucks. I expect a title change coming up, and they got a 2-hour special. You know, these damn 2-hour specials. we'll get to see it coming up. Plus two on Rampage. They're building Rampage up for Grand Slam. Sting and Darby Allin taking on Christian Cage and Luchasaurus in a tag team match. The Acclaim defend their six-man tag team titles. A lot of six-man tag team titles are going to be on the ring. The AEW six-man tag team titles and the Ring of Honor World six-man tag team championship. So there's going to be a lot going on next week. Plus two, the card for Wrestle Dream is coming as well. You see right here, FTR defend the World Tag Team titles against Aussie Open. Aussie Open coming a loss from MJF and Adam Cole. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Danielson said he wants to. This is going to be his final year in full-time wrestling. And Shane Strickland versus Adam Page. That's all coming up sometime this week or beyond. All Elite Wrestling. So look forward to see that. All right. We're going to move forward to another AEW wrestling hot topics wrestling hot topics including WWE. As you see right here, the great one appeared last night. The Rock, the People's Champion, the hardest working man in show business. The Rock made a rare appearance on SmackDown. The Rock, coming from Pat McAfee's show. The Rock, doing everything he could, and The Rock did that yesterday, getting interviewed by Pat McAfee and appearing on with McAfee to talk about that the match that The Rock was supposed to have against Roman. It was scheduled to happen. It was locked in, but it never did come to fruition. It didn't come to fruition as what The Rock wanted to be. Rock had different plans, but The Rock had his encounter with Austin Theory to put him over, and he did. Austin Theory did a pretty good job, so good for Austin Theory. Hopefully, it gets him a rub sooner rather than later. Well, we talk about this. This is the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 30th annual PWI 500 awards. We found out who was number one, number two, number three. The Shield lives on right now. The leaders of the Shield, almost arguably champions in a way. Roman and Seth. Seth is the most active champion right now in WWE. It's the active world champion, the A1. But Roman is the dominant champion, but he has a long reign, almost 4+ years as world champion. Mox comes third. I'm surprised Mox ain't the AEW champion, which that's an underbelly, but to make that success, he might get it next year. Who knows? But as you see right here, Seth Rollins representing Monday Night Raw as the World Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns representing WWE Friday Night SmackDown as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. John Moxley representing AEW as its international champion. So Moxley, Roman, and Seth, they're all champions indeed, and they kind of led the Primrose Path to do so. This was what Seth Rollins wrote right here. He tweeted this, that the Halls Justice did that, and they did. All three Shield members are dominating the business right now, but in their own little divisions and their own little brands. You ask me, going forward. So, speaking of that, WWE did a recent layoffs and stuff. We found out that former WWE president and chief financial officer Frank Ritter III, he took a payoff, but he was the first one to get laid off during the Endeavor thing. Frank A. Riddick no longer with World Wrestling Entertainment due to the layoffs of WWE merging with UFC to create Tap Out. So hey, WWE now subsidiary. That's Well, we talk about this. Jade Cargill, is she WWE bound? We're hearing reports that Jade was losing, leaving AEW to come to WWE. We haven't heard those reports. But if she is heading to WWE, there are reports that she may start with NXT, and she might get a lot of training. Might be an NXT Women's Champion. I am rooting and seeing that she could probably go against Bianca Belair down the road. So hopefully that could happen. Plus, two, the Grizzly Young Vets are no longer with WWE NXT. They want to end their contracts. So the Grizzly Young Vets, they might come to AEW. Who knows? Get some exposure. Who knows that? So hey, we could probably see that coming out sooner rather than later. Speaking of that, this week was a phenomenal week. Becky Lynch winning the NXT Women's Championship. Nia Jax returning to WWE Raw. So everything is falling in place. And then The Rock returning to SmackDown yesterday, make his rare appearance as well. So a lot going on. Rock, I guess he ain't got nothing to do with the strike going on and stuff. So hey, a lot's going on. We're hearing reports that Elias is no longer with WWE. I see somebody from Impact or AEW might pick him up sooner rather than later. However that may be. However that might go. Well, we talk about this. CM Punk talked about this. He talked about that he's got enough free time on his hands. So CM Punk um just doing UFC. I'll be shocked he might make a jump to WWE, but WWE don't want him, so nobody really don't want him. So how that might be. Speaking of that, this is a rare photo right here. Triple H getting a hug, taking a photo up with The Rock and Pat McAfee. Triple H in the fire. So hey, how that might be. We're hearing reports right here that Mandy Rose. We can see Mandy Rose right here. Mandy Rose, she's coming in with her OnlyFans account. So Mandy Rose might be going to OnlyFans. She got TikTok, YouTube, Threads. She's starting her social account now. So Mandy Rose knows what she's doing. However that might be and stuff. So Mandy Rose getting say she's deleting her fan time account to start OnlyFans. So a lot going on with that. This is a rare photo that's been taken right here. This is the photo of the week right here on the Pro Wrestling Show. The members of Nation of Domination, excluding The Rock. You see the Godfather with the Intercontinental belt. You see Mark Henry with the world title. Farouk, Ron Simmons with the tag team title, and Dio with the Intercontinental title. They had their run, so hey, that'd be. Plus two, Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro. We forgot to make mention of them. They did their segment. This is far from over between these two men. I'll tell you that, and they like to say meat. I don't know what they talking about, muscular, built jack guys. So hey, however that may go for them. All right, we're gonna end this right now. The AEW Collision Ring Report, and this week it's been a heck of a week. It's been a heck of a long week, and we thank you for watching for real. We see the numbers growing. We thank you. Really, really, truly appreciate you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show. So for me being Kendra Dix saying so long, we'll see you this Monday for Monday Night Raw and what Nia Jax has in store for the Raw Women's Division, especially Rhea Ripley.